I'm Tom Bagamani. Many of you know, but some of you don't. I'm CEO, founder of The Giving Spirit. So we're 23 years in homeless services and poverty mitigation. And so we have a bifurcated mission. You see, some of you have been in the main auditorium and see us building tangible, sustainable survival assistance to the poorest of the poor. And we've been serving the poorest of the poor directly on the streets for 23 years. We're about to eclipse 90,000 people that we've served since 1999 with direct aid to allow them to both survive, sustain their lives, but to be re-engaged with hope and humanity, which has been lost. The second half of our mission is education and community awareness. We pierce the veil of poverty and of homelessness to see the journeys of people who we have, not us, because we're all here, so the other folks out there, driven by, ignored, stereotyped, and leaned into myths, instead of really understanding journeys and lives that are just like ours, in many ways. So today's topic is homeless fathers. Today, I'm joined by Jeremiah Williams. Jeremiah, thank you for being here. John Christian. Thank you, John. And finally, Charles Riles. Can we please welcome them to our group today?
I have a 4-year-old son who's about to turn 5. I have not had a single unsupervised visit with my son. This whole time I've been denied that privilege or that, I don't know what that right, I don't know what you want to call it. And I just got a notice in the mail that I have to pay $1,000 in child support to someone who is not willing to give me any visitation or any type of like physical custody or anything like that. So
what's typical in this situation is that my son's gonna reach an age where he just won't take no for an answer. He's gonna wanna be around me. He's going to need to be around me. He's gonna have questions that she can't answer for him. And I'm willing to answer those questions and I'm ready for that. And so when I wake up in the morning or when I go to sleep at night and I think about how stressful the situation is, the access that I'm being denied, the crucial moments that I'm missing in his life right now, I just hold on to the fact that I know he's gonna hit an age where it's not gonna matter.
Well, basically, I'm here. I'm Jeremiah Williams. For me, being homeless was partial, issues. It wasn't really nothing big on like why I didn't have a house to be in. It was really more about my choice of being around a person that's gonna do right or wrong, kind of like this man right here. Either you're gonna leave or stay and deal with the situation. So it's like me being a better father to this day. It's just like, just leave and start over. Reprogram yourself. Find the right assets, the people that can help you build, so you won't ever be in that position again. And I know that being a man, you gotta have responsibilities out here to where you'll never end up homeless. Or you'll wake up to say, oh, where I'm gonna be at today? Who house can I go spend the night at? You can't be homeless unless you know you don't have nowhere to be. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if I know I can go to my dad's house, my auntie house, and technically you're homeless. This is not your house. This is their house. Just because they letting you stay here over the night, you still homeless. You still got to go out there and try. But, well, how can I try to get a job and how can I do this with all these things getting thrown at me? Can't keep a job. Got to go to a program. Being in a program, they're not structured, like you were saying, they're not structured properly with their child care to help these parents that they're forcing to go get a job, go work, when ain't nobody here to watch the kids. So it really starts with the family structure. If your family isn't strong for your support, like backing you, like knowing you might have a job, you might need your daughter to be watched by your mom, but she don't like the kids around. Why? Because they yell, they run around too much. She don't want that around her. So it's like you might not have the help you need. And now I'm homeless because I didn't get no help. But it's like you can get that. It's just about putting yourself in around the right people that's going to help you, want to see you do good. It's to where a lot of the families nowadays, they don't have that support. Nobody to help them. It's like they just want help. They don't want to give you no help. So you can't move forward in life, bettering yourself without no stumping stone, like nothing to help you. What you do to get homeless? That's the question. Where's the support at when you needed the support? what was the reason for not getting the support? Those are the questions that we ask to figure out this reason of being homeless. But it's like nobody trying to talk about that. They go around it.
And you're a dad at the same time.
Of course. Y'all know I'm a dad. That's why I'm here.
That's what I'm saying,
I got two sons. I'm taking care of them fully. And it's not no co-parent. Ain't no half and half. It's, it's all the same.
Yeah.
The kids see that mom and dad are still in the same household and together. But being in a car was just a part of the situation, the struggle. The kids didn't really acknowledge their kids. They think you just in a car. They don't know you homeless unless you badger them saying, we're homeless, we're poor, we're on the streets. This is stuff you teach them. They just think we in a car. If you go on a road trip and run out of gas, they don't know the car ran out of gas. You can just say, oh, we're stopping for now. But as they get older and learn these things, now they starting to realize the truth. That's how it's all broken down to. Well, what made y'all homeless in the car? You got to go back to the real scenario, not just, oh, you were in the car for 2 years. How did that make you feel? Because it probably made me feel even stronger being in the car, realizing that everybody outside that was supposed to be helping really didn't care anyway.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being a good dad.
Yeah, always. I don't want to be a deadbeat dad. That's the key. As long as I know I'm doing right, everything is going to follow suit. If I'm doing wrong, everything will be all wrong. So it's like at the end of the day, as long as I'm doing my part, no matter how good the relationship is, how good the kids see it, they know that it'll be right eventually. Time is the essence. So it's like it only gets better as you go. Only thing can get worse is what's been done already.
I'm John Christian, and I was a homeless dad, and that's the only part of my story. I was living in Bakersfield at the time, and we had already had a son that we had on the street, and once we had the son on the street, we started striving to become better. And that only lasted for 3 years. I ended up leaving. I couldn't take my kids for 2 days every 2 weeks. I couldn't take my kids for 2 hours on Wednesday because of my own mental state of mind and my own emotional bankruptcy. My story starts back in 1988 when I first became homeless, and it ends in 2019 when I became housed. Throughout the course of that homelessness, I fathered 5 kids, and I know 2 of them. These 2 are very special to me because it's the first time I've tried to stay around once the mom assumed control of the kids. I'm out there and I'm building up this resistance to reality, which is you are still a dad. And I'm sitting here and I'm not believing that part because I don't have my kids with me and I don't know what's going on with them and I can't make sure they're okay. I can't feed them. I can't cook for them. I can't give them baths. I can't do anything anymore. Can't take them to the park. Can't do anything. I had to fight for 4.5 months in court battles just to get 2 days every 2 weeks and every Wednesday. That's 12% for me and 88% for mom. All based upon the fact that we weren't married. How am I going to be a dad now? Where's my identity now? What am I now? I'm nothing now.
But the core of it is you love your children, And because of circumstances that a lot of times were beyond your control, you weren't afforded the ability to care for them as you can and are willing to do.
It shapes your whole day. You can't do anything without thinking about your kids. You can't do anything without thinking about how much you dislike the ex. And you really ain't gonna do nothing until you get past the situation mentally and emotionally. And it's really hard to do because we like to think about our problems. We like to concentrate on our problems trying to find a solution. When there is no solution, we will sit there and hammer that problem over and over and over and over and over. And it ruins lives to do that because it takes away from what you can do for yourself during that period of time.
Charles, but that's, I mean, Jeremiah, that brings up a really good point. You know, what John framed was, and what Charles so incredibly well articulated was, and you said it in your own words in that room, you're in this space, and you're trying to rationalize things that are irrational, and trying to explain it to folks. You don't have, how do you do that? I mean, how do you live in your head understanding what the most important thing is survival for you and your children? I mean, how do you, on a daily basis, how do you find a way to get to work and still maintain that?
That's a person willing to do it. Like, you know you got to go to work. It's just like, okay, if I tell you you have to go to school, you're going to go. But it's up to you to learn. I mean, at the end of the day, you teach them the same values you want to have. Being good, respectful, honesty, you know. The way you grew up, you know, at the end of the day, it's still like they go to school, so they're really being taught by someone else, you know. I can go on a field trip with 5 different homeless daddies to this day, but they not all going to have the same field trip. They all going to do something different. So that's another thing you got to look at, being a single father and a parent to your kid.
Fathers don't get as much attention as the mothers. Fathers, you see a man and you think that they're self-sufficient or that they can get themselves to where they need to be because they're a man. And they should have no problem finding a job because there's plenty of jobs out here. If there was one policy I could change, I would offer grief counseling to the dads that lose, to the moms that lose, because once you're stripped of your identity, you pretty much lose a part of your sanity. And the things that would be disgusting to you or unheard of become viable options.
It's moments where you can't explain certain situations to your kids. They don't have a comprehension level to know, well, why are we in a car because you're telling them they're homeless? They have no definition of that because they have no experience of what a homeless person would look like. I'm going to take it back to the beginning. Let's start with family structure and support. Without that, you'll crumble, you know, without the right people around you, because you can do everything by yourself, but you still need help, period. And I don't believe in saying I don't need help because it don't make sense, you know. That's why these lights on, because everybody got help. That's why we all here, because we got help. The family structure is the best structure.
The biggest thing here is if you are being denied access to your child, the only barrier is the gate in between you and the child. So it's about how you navigate that obstacle.
And in reality, it just comes down to the fact that, like, I have the desire to be in my child's life, and that should count for something, you know? Like, the effort that I'm putting towards it, it should mean something. You know, it should be rewarded with at least my presence in his life.
It's pretty much the same thing for the absent parent, no matter what the sex is. The absent parent is pushed away and villainized, while the parent who retains custody is brought into a circle of friends. And those circle of friends make it possible for them to retain custody. Whereas the parent that's scheduled to be the absent parent is it's already known that before you even go into court, what's going to happen. The judge knows he's going to give you 2 days with Wednesdays, and that's just going to be the way it is. If you don't mediate something with the ex that is any different than what the judge wants to give you, then that's what they're going to give you. It works out to 12% of the time that your child is alive on this planet.
And you're 100% dad.
Yeah.
I have a 1-bedroom, he can have it, you know, even if it's just for a weekend. So the whole time that I was grinding, so I left when he was 1, was forced to leave, left, whatever you want to call it. Another year of homelessness, right? So he's 2. He's about to be 5 now. For the last 2.5 to 3 years, it's gradually getting better, obviously, but there's always been the possibility that I could have him. Like, I've had an environment that he could live in safely, that he could be with me, and it's never been granted to me. That privilege has never been granted to me. My son does need to learn. He needs to learn the presence of his father and, like, a male figure in his life. And maybe I'm wrong, but he is my son, and I feel like I deserve the input or that opinion. There's a lot of legal aid for mothers and babies, and there's not really a lot of aid for fathers with their kids or single fathers who are trying to get some type of custody over their kids and be in their kids' lives in any type of way. And the courts are very biased.
A mother with a child is very hard to house, but a father with a child is impossible. There is nothing for you. There is no resource in LA for you. There's no resource in LA for a father with a child. Okay, one you know of.
Upward Bound Housing.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
If it wasn't for them, I'd probably still be figuring it out right now.
All right. Well, we need more of that. We need some more of that. Some more tolerant shelters. Some more shelters that are like, oh, okay, well, it's a father, a mom, and a baby. Okay, come on in. Instead of saying, well, the mom and the baby can come in, the father could sleep outside in the car in the front. You know what I mean? But he can't. No. There's children in here. Like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Did you just hear what he said? There are children in here. Not even acknowledging the fact that one of them is his, right? And so let me give you another dose of reality that these gentlemen will nod their heads. If you're a single dad with a female child, right?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. But if you actually want to understand and be compassionate about the human beings and the individuals that walk these streets and that have now found a way, and these are all viable human beings that have committed to a solid foundation for their children. Okay? That's the reality of our unhoused neighbors. And what we need to do is to immerse ourselves and and ask more questions. You know, there are so many opportunities. Of course, we want you to do it with us, but he mentioned SPY, Upward Bound House. There are amazing organizations that do this every day. SPY needs more help. Upward Bound House needs more help, and God knows we do too as well. To be able to continue to bring these curated dialogues to not only public events that we have right now, but to corporations and schools and synagogues. We do this really well, and we've been doing it for a long time. We've got to get back out in front of more people, okay? Yes, COVID's still around, and it will eventually find its way out. This has been around since the dawn of time. Please thank these amazing gentlemen for sharing their story. So what you saw here today is, again, it's the core of who we are as the Giving Spirit. We are not advocates for the homeless. We're not advocates for poverty. We're advocates for the truth. What these brave men did today was tell the truth about their lives. And we come to this space without judgment. And we ask you to do the same. Just because their lives aren't familiar to ours, or they're not, our optics are different, doesn't mean that the value of their journeys and their lives and their dedication as fathers are any less. And that's where we've lost ourselves as a city and as a culture. And this is nationwide. These guys, right? And we can make a huge difference here. We're all about hope. We're all about hope. As tough as this has been for these three gentlemen, if they didn't have hope, and as Jeremiah said, they didn't give up. So this is hopeful. This is positive. We don't want you to go out of here feeling, they don't want you to feel sorry for them. I know these guys already. They want you to make a difference for those dads that are still out there dealing with the stuff that they're still dealing with, but they don't even have the ability to be here today. Right? Right, guys? Thank you so much.